Right, Survivalist number 10, we're going to catch one of each type of fish. I'm going to do them in alphabetical order. So starting with bluegill. I'll show you a location where they are on the map. And then I'll show you really sped up me catching them. I won't bore you with the fishing side of it. And I'll tell you which bait to use. So cheese bait for bluegill, the Dakota River. You can actually catch a fair few fish in this exact spot. The next one we'll do bullhead catfish. Corn bait's your best bait, but we're going to go right here on the map. Directly opposite Sisika Penitentiary, right on the border there between Bluewater Marsh and the Bayou Noir. I'll just come out to this part here and use some corn bait. It's the best bait to catch the bullhead catfish. It's taking a while, as you can see. It's all sped up and it's still standing here waiting. But he's really easy to catch once you hook him. Yeah, the bullhead catfish is definitely one of the trickier ones to find. The next one, we're going to get a chain pickerel. The best bait for this is corn bait, but I use cheese because I caught this before I got the bluegill. So it just shows you that it's not super important which bait you use. It just matters more where you are. Like I'm catching a fish that says it prefers corn bait. I catch it with cheese. It doesn't really make too much of a difference. Try and use the right bait, I suppose, but anyway, there's a chain pickerel. Pretty easy fish to catch. The next one is probably the hardest fish that you'll find, the channel catfish. I used a special swamp lure and I came out to this little island in the middle of the river, just directly west of the word Le Gras. So I'm standing on this island and I'm fishing back towards Le Gras. And I tried this a couple of times with a regular swamp lure, and maybe I just got unlucky, but I couldn't catch a catfish. And as soon as I used the special swamp lure, it was the first go. So there's the channel catfish. I'll throw him back so someone else has a chance to catch him. But the next one anyway, the lake sturgeon. They're pretty common. We'll just go back across the river there to Le Gras. And I'm just going to fish off this dock here. Use a swamp lure. It shouldn't take you too many goes. And they're another big fish, so when they're struggling, stop reeling, because you will break the line. And you'll lose your lure.
A sturgeon?
I'm throwing all these big ones back in because I can't be bothered carrying them on my horse. I'm just going around to all the different spots and showing you where the fish are. So the largemouth bass is next. Crayfish is its favourite. I'm going to the horse fence. There is a lot of different places you can catch these. And like I said, crayfish is its favourite, but I used worms. I was actually looking for the Steelhead Trout. And I ended up catching a largemouth bass. So like I said, right near the horse fence, you need to be on your horse to be able to see the horse fence. If you can't see it, that's why. But that's where I caught the largemouth bass anyway. So Longnose Gar is next. We're going to go back to Saint Denis. And this little train bridge right at the very bottom, there's actually a legendary lake sturgeon just to the west of me. I'm going to jump down off this little train bridge bit here and stand on the bank. You can actually see them swimming around in the water. So bring the lure close. And when you grab a hold of it, it shouldn't be very far to pull to get the Longnose Gar in. You're inside Saint Denis, where I'm standing right now. But it's just down on a little bank.
You're in luck.
Throw him back and we'll go and get a muskie up in Lake Isabella. We're going all the way up to Amberino. You can actually catch these over near Van Horn, but I decided to come up here. I was actually up here for Survivalist Challenge 9 and I caught a muskie for that. So I just caught a second muskie while I was up here. I should have mentioned before, lake lure for muskie. Use a lake lure. If I don't mention it, it says it down the bottom right corner if you haven't seen that anyway. So catch your muskie and we'll move on. The next fish we're going to catch is the northern pike. We're going to use a river lure. We're going to go to the Kamasa River, directly north of the A in Ennisburg. It's like a real shallow and narrow part of the river. But it's good because it doesn't give you very far to pull the fish. And it is a kind of big fish too, so. I got lucky, it kind of hooked on right at the shoreline, so. There's my northern pike anyway, he likes a river lure if I didn't mention that before.
You can go.
So we'll throw him back in. Don't really need him anymore. We're going to head all the way back over towards Valentine. We're going to go to Cumberland Falls and we're going to catch some perch. They like to pull up at the foot of the waterfall. They like bread bait. You see where I'm standing right here. Just fish into this large body of water. And you should pretty easily get a perch in here. This is my first attempt. For the next one, we're going to go further down the Dakota River, back to the same spot we were at when we caught the chain pickerel and the bluegill. And this time we'll catch redfin pickerel in here. So they like bread bait, same as the perch. Throw it in with some bread bait. You shouldn't have more than a few seconds before you hook a redfin pickerel. Really common down here. And for the next one, don't go anywhere because we're going to fish in the exact same spot. We're going to use cheese bait though this time. And we're going to catch some rock bass. So they prefer cheese bait. But like I said, you can catch them. You might have even caught them with the bread bait just looking for that redfin pickerel then. They don't necessarily only bite cheese bait, but it's just their preferred bait, I guess. But there's rock bass.
Quite a nice bass.
For the next one, we're going to catch Sockeye Salmon. You can actually catch them in the Dakota River if you just head a little bit north, but I'm going to show you that you can catch them in the Kamasa River too, just directly west of Van Horn, in this little kind of cove part here in the river. It's just south of the legendary beaver. You can catch them here pretty easily as well. But if you go to where we caught the perch in Cumberland Falls and you use cheese bait, or anywhere south of the Dakota River from there, you should have no trouble catching these sockeye salmon. But for the next one, we're going to get steelhead trout anyway, back over to the Dakota River. But we're going to go directly under Bard's Crossing. And we're going to fish out towards the ocean. We're not going to fish in the river section anymore. We're going to go as far south as we can under the bridge and fish towards the ocean. These things prefer worm bait. And they're one of these and the sockeye salmon are two of the fish that give you the succulent fish meat. So they're the two better eating fish in the game.
Afraid you're coming.
So yeah, don't throw these guys back. But for the next one, we're going to catch a smallmouth bass. And I like to fish for these over in Ringneck Creek, at these two kind of pool areas at the north side of the creek. For some reason, this is just a really good spot. If you get cricket bait and you throw it in, you'll almost always get a smallmouth bass. Well, I do anyway. So this is the last fish for the Survivalist 10 challenge. That's all of them done.
Fine bass.
Thanks for watching the video. I hope they all helped you out. If they did, like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.